Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we're discussing a stainless steel 2018 model year launch from Omega, made in 2,998 pieces. This is the Omega Speedmaster CK2998, an homage to one of the earliest variants of the Speedmaster, pre-professional. You can see that in the case profile. This was also the successor to the first Omega in Space of 2012 and 2016's blue CK2998. But whereas the blue watch was often discussed as more of a aviator's watch of sorts, this was often referred to as the driver's choice, and we'll talk about why that is in a moment. But it has the pre-Moonwatch case that first debuted on the first Omega in Space model. So it is 39.7 millimeters in diameter. And taking a look at it in profile, it's 14.4 millimeters thick and then 47 from lug tip to lug tip with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, very comfortable. Smaller than a Moonwatch in almost every measurable dimension. I can recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. It is not thin though, and the particular shape of the case flank, particularly the cantilever bezel, means that it will get hung up on super tight sleeves, but a jacket should be okay. Here's your over the top, and once more down the barrel where you can see I have plenty of clearance on each side. The strap's one of the reasons this watch was discussed as a driver's piece, because this perforation and the combination of black calf with a contrasting stitch is very much like what you would have found on driver's chronographs, quote, driver's chronographs of the 60s and 70s. And you can see we have a folded edge, matte black calfskin. We have perforation on the bottom, and oddly, a contrasting stitch where you cannot see it, but note, brand new strap, no crimping, no gouging, Omega factory strap with a simple steel Omega pin buckle. Now in profile, we don't have the lyre style lugs. They weren't a feature of the pre-professional Speedmasters. So we have this sort of sheer case band, kind of an angular bevel, and then a squared off lug end. We have no crown guards. This is not the asymmetrical case. And then we have a ceramic bezel that's actually a pulsation scale, which doesn't seem intuitively related to driving, but a lot of trackside doctors, such as in Formula One, NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, they'll actually have pulsation tools with them. So the idea of having a pulsation scale at the track might not have been driver-oriented, but was still very much motorsports-oriented in that regard. So it's a ceramic bezel insert with cold enamel fill for the characters. And then we've got a dramatically boxed and cambered sapphire that's designed to read like a plexi from vintage times. No shortage of lume. You can see it quite easily. On the dial, we have these dished registers, and we have a lovely panda aesthetic, though I can also see some shades of the Singer exotic dial Paul Newman here. Note that the indices are applique rather than printed, as you'll find on a standard Moonwatch. That we have a downward stepped track outboard for reading minutes, seconds, and fractions of seconds. It's got that classic sporting tritone that you see on 60s and 70s motorsports chronographs of silver, white, black, and red. And then we have alpha-style hands at center, as well as for the sub-registers, another early 60s CK2998 element. Panda style with a red varnished chronograph seconds hand. When you get closer, you can see that there's sort of a granular opaline-like finish to the dial that's nuanced and beautiful. The watch features a solid case back. People always ask, why is there a seahorse on the Speedmaster? That's because the original CK2915 of 1957 was a water-resistant watch at a time when being a water-resistant watch automatically made you part of the Seamaster family. So the original Speedmaster was technically also a Seamaster. As a result, it had the so-called hippocampus on the back, and that's just retained to this day for nostalgic reasons. The watch features caliber 1861, the Moonwatch caliber, manual wind 3 Hz, 48-hour power reserve, a very crisp and credible cam-based function selector with a lateral clutch, 18 joules, and it is based on the Lemania 1873 Bausch that has been used on innumerable space missions by many, many astronauts and more. So make no mistake, there is a real Moonwatch caliber in here. It's all 50 meters water resistant. Now, I know Omega says you can swim with a 50-meter push-down crown. I say don't. But all the same, I'm just putting that out there. I would not do it. That is my recommendation. Don't swim with this watch. But for all other instances, you're going to find that it is a wonderful companion and much easier to wear than a standard Moonwatch, and also much less common. Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.